Okay, so hi everybody. Hopefully everything is going good. Um, Hopefully my YouTube side is going good. On the first match, I just want to give a message to Mary Painter that she won the free read last Wednesday. So if she wants to contact us, she can get the set up the free read or whatnot, and we can go from there. Okay, so YouTube's here. Okay. Um, there you are with your hat. It's a we didn't have a for the hat. We didn't. The only thing we had was the winter one, so we went out and bought one at Walmart, and this is it. So yeah. So Cisco let her know. Some reason I didn't have a way of contacting you, but anyway. So I hope everybody's doing good today. So for everybody who's new here, my name's Ken Mason. I'm a psychic medium. So I do psychic and spiritual work. So I'm connecting to past loved ones and spirit guides and anything and everything you want to know. I'm also be starting some healing. So we're going to do a bit of healing tonight at the 30-minute mark for those of you guys who are interested. So I'm expanding my, I guess, whatever you want to call it, a bit. I always was a healer, but I was never really did it, and now I'm being kind of asked by the spiritual world to get back to my healing. So I guess that's what I'm doing. Hi, Corey Haddock. So, as I want to mention, because basically we have enough people going through. If I don't happen to see you, I apologize because there's a lot of people that go through here, and if I don't happen to see you, it's not because I'm ignoring you. Sometimes, my manager will text me to because she's also very psychic as well, and she'll be drawn to people. This one, Monique Mask Mason, she gets drawn to people, so sometimes she tells me, "Oh, we should do this one." Anyway, I have talked enough. Let's clean up my desk here because I know my wife's going to come down here and say, "What the?" Move that out of the way. So it's a good thing you're not seeing my desk. Okay, so as I said, let's get started. And of course, I don't see any cards. Oh, my cards are way over there, so be right back. Okay, put that back on. Okay, so and just let everybody know, in case you didn't know, well, you obviously don't know, but I'll also be having some of these reads on other nights or other lives on other nights because I want to teach myself how to do readings without using the card. So I'm going through a few changes. So my spirit guide's been prompting me to change, as well as Monique's spirit guides prompting me to change. So I'll be trying to move into animals as well. Oh, so much change. Anyway, so let's see, where are we here? Mm-hmm. Happy Wednesday, Pat. Come on, Bernard, wake up. Okay, so let's go with Mary Ann Sweeney. Mm-hmm. 722. It's already 722. Oh my god. Talk about babbling. Okay, so Mary Ann Sweeney. Okay. So Marianne, so the first thing I'm getting from your spirit guide is that there's going to be a bit of a change coming for you over the next little while, and sometimes you might find a bit of a negative change, but actually it's a change that's going to kind of move you more into a happier mode. Second here. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So the fact is that you're going to kind of need to be a lot more logical over the next little while and find a way to get away from the negativity as it kind of unfolds in front of you. So it's just kind of a message saying that you're going to be heading into kind of a phase of negativity. But it's also a time for you to recognize there are things to change, people to move on, and realize that perhaps you're a little stagnant where you are, and perhaps you need to change as well. Spiritually, I see you, looking at your aura, I kind of see that there's a lot of, I don't know, a lot of people that are connected to you, hooks. And these hooks are kind of stopping you from moving forward because you're constantly thinking of things that you don't need to, but these hooks are making you think of that way. And hooks are basically people that you've known or people you don't want to know that are still connected to you spiritually, and things like exes and people you've had anger with. And what that basically does is stops you from moving forward because you're still thinking of how to deal with it. But you do have a lot of really good, intelligent part of your aura, and I see a little bit of certainly a lot of love in there. Not necessarily for yourself, but certainly a lot of love for people in general. I just think there's a little bit there that perhaps you need to love yourself a bit more. And like I said, there's a bit of conflicts, but overall, you're going to find yourself over the next little while finding rid of the negativity, and certainly a card saying you're going to be moving away from that as well. Again, because it's a public read, they're not going to come up with anything very public or very personal, so the public doesn't know. So that's about what your spirit guide wants you to know. Other than, yes, that is a grandmother who is waking you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and trying to annoy you. But that's basically all I'm having for you. So hopefully it makes sense. And thank you for coming tonight. That was for Mary Ann Sweeney. Geez, Rachel, thanks for checking in at 2 a.m. from Israel. So let's try Chris Thompson. Okay, so 11:49. Okay. Anything for you tonight? I see kind of maybe some pasta and a bit of milk and whatnot, but no, just joking. Excuse me. So one of the messages I'm getting here for you is that I just kind of look at you and it's like the left-hand side, you're having some, that kind of conflicts, or perhaps there's somebody in your life that's causing you. Typically left-hand side is usually female. So there might be some bit of conflict, or perhaps, battle weary on that side. But on the right-hand side, I see your path. And what I see on that path is a very high level of happiness. I see you achieving yourself and certainly finding the contentment you want in life. But it's kind of like being unbalanced by the left-hand side, which is people that tend to be, or somebody who tends to be, annoying you. The thing I'm kind of seeing is that there's new things coming up for work. I don't know if what this is, or whether, I kind of see you slow down right now. Because I just kind of see you just kind of standing there and looking at things, and all of a sudden I just see you looking at something, says that's what I want, and you go for it. So it's really a time for you to sit back and not necessarily wait, but analyze what your priorities are in life, and prioritize what your priorities that are going to make you happy at the end. Because we all have, retirement and all that, where we have to come to an end, where we have to put our feet up and say, hey, I'm done. But prioritize what you want with that. I'm not having any cards about money, so I don't see any issues here with money or anything. I don't know what this is. I'm seeing a small dog that's kind of running around your feet. So I'm talking about small, like, I don't know. Chihuahua type size, but it's not a Chihuahua, but I just see a small dog running around you. So I don't know if this is a dog in past or a dog that's coming, but certainly a dog that's going to kind of make you see things in a much different way. And of course, animals are people from spiritual life or past life. And they're humans too. So anyway, so it seems like, like I said, on the left side, this seems to be something that's kind of pulling your shoulder down. The other side is going up, which means there's happiness. And so it's just a matter, I guess, of you figuring out what it is on the left-hand side, so you can move further and balance those shoulders off. I hope that made sense, and thank you for coming tonight. Take care. Hi, Tanya. Thank you for coming. Too cool for Banshee. Okay. Let's try you. Too cool for Banshee. What is it? 1646. Okay, so the first thing I'm kind of seeing from the cards, and I'm talking to your spirit guide as well. And the first thing I'm seeing is that there's a new addition to the family that's coming, whether it's, under you or somebody else, but there's a new addition coming to the family that's going to cause you to recognize them from a different past. Again, this could be, niece or whatever. It doesn't, unless you want a child, but there's certainly another child that's going to be very close to you spiritually, and it's certainly going to move you into that spiritual side of you. And it's just a message from your spirit guide saying that you have a lot of abilities that you've kind of been ignoring, and just kind of time to open that up. And the reason for that is because you're going to use your spirituality to not only be more logical with people, but help people in their own way. And it's certainly, like, I see you spending more time in nature, identifying yourself, going back to, being what they call the forest angel, where you start identifying things from nature that will help you. And certainly getting messages from the past and how to direct yourself around kind of negative people that are going to come around you over the next 5 years. Again, not a whole horde, just a couple that are going to come in that you're going to recognize that are not there to help you. And using logic instead of emotions to try and move them around and just kind of say, I don't really want you here. There's certainly kind of the, you're going to start opening up a lot more in your mediumship as well. So you'll be getting messages for other people. But particular, this child seems to be very much focused on you. And it's one of those things where they'll suddenly want to talk to you, or like I said, if you're having a child, and be somebody that's be very connected to you, not to your husband. So yeah, a lot of the spiritual changes are going to come up to you for you to be more aware of what's coming up, and to use that spirituality to gain the advantage over the negativity that may be coming your way. Yeah, so that's all your spirit guide is saying. So thank you for coming tonight. Too cool for Banshee. Okay, so, and onwards we go. Okay, so Kate Williams. Yeah, 2041. Somebody's having a birthday. Usually when somebody's having a birthday, Bernard starts singing. Bernard, by the way, is my guide. In case anybody didn't know who Bernard was, start singing the birthday song, which usually means, because it's not my birthday, that somebody in my spiritual field is having a birthday. Okay, so Kate Williams. Okay, so the first thing I'm kind of seeing around you is certainly about at work or moving forward when it comes to, satisfying, being satisfied with your own career or your own path. I'm seeing there's kind of been a bit of an upgrade coming, if you want to see this. But also see it also as perhaps a change in where you might be living, or you might decide to move closer to this work. Because I do see, the boxes being packed and perhaps being moved. And it's kind of it's going to like really re-energize yourself. It's like you're going to be really happy. And it may also cause a bit of conflict within the family, but I really think that you're going to look at this as perhaps a very good part of your life. And again, this is not like moving across the country or anything. You might just be moving from one side of the city to the other, depending where you're living. But really focusing on your own happiness or path. And your spirit guide is also saying that, you're going to have to sit down and plan for your future as well when it comes to money. You also have a grandmother that's sitting there and watching over you and kind of saying, this is exciting, though you might not like it because it's a big change and you may have fears of that. But in the end, she says, you know what? Sometimes, you have to go and make the big change to find the big money and to have the big happiness. So, when things change, then, you have to realize that spirits are changing it for you on purpose. And perhaps it's because you're not where you were supposed to be. Anyway, so the other thing she says is that she wants you to know that she's very proud of you, and certainly she's watching over you and other people in the family, including any kids you may have. But she's saying, says it's all good. Everything's going to move in the direction that you feel in 10 years was the correct direction. Maybe not now, but you'll feel it. Anyway, so I hope that makes sense to you. And your grandmother says hi and bye at the same time. So take care. That's for Kate Williams. Okay. Hey, Mike. Okay, so Nicolas Framboise. Oops. It's an I. Wow. I always tell people that I lost my French when I quit working, but in reality, I never had French anyway, so not much to lose. Funny thing about French is that I can understand it perfectly, but I can't write or speak it. Doesn't mean you're French. I'm just looking at your last name. See, I'm babbling again. Your father-in-law. So the first thing I'm kind of seeing or hearing from him is that he'd really like to see your son go out and spend more time in nature and not be too sedentary when it comes to being in the house Just be active and get things going and move things, and same thing as I should be. But I digress. Anyway, I also see him packing bags. But I think in this case, it's packing bags for him, getting rid of his negativity and perhaps realizing that maybe at times he's too sensitive with other people. So it's almost like he's showing, packing up the bags that are not good for him and unpacking bags that'll make him more successful. I also see the very big happy card coming up for him. Again, I don't know how old he is or whatnot, but I'm certainly see him being very happy and being able to deal with negativities in life and just kind of like, oh, well. And he also says, make sure he goes back and does a very good job with his creativity, because his creativity is where he's supposed to be. And just tell him, too, that he's very proud of him, and often sits on his bed and talks to him. And he does miss him. But he says the only thing is that, he misses him physically. But he says spirits are always around this. We're always there 24/7. So whenever he has some issues, just have him talk to in his mind, and he'll try to help out. He's kind of laughing because he says, where he kind of gets those scratches in the back where he really can't get to, that would be him. Because he likes annoying him in that kind of way. Yeah, so if he ever has, that itch right where you can't reach. So, no, he says that, he's going to be very successful. He's a good boy. Anyway, that's all I have for you from that aspect. Okay, so now there's a new addition to what I do. So usually around 7:30 when I do these reads, I'm going to do a bit of a healing thing. So, if you guys, want to join in, or, if you guys don't want to join in, go get a coffee or something, a drink or something to eat. So this is going to be a very quick thing. It's not like it's going to last 15 minutes, probably at the most a minute or two. I don't like doing healing for a long period of time because then it just gets kind of boring. So for you guys who want to do some healing, so I would really want you guys to do is just kind of put your hand on any, like on your lap or something, and just don't put it in an uncomfortable way. And I just want you to, open up your fingers and just kind of imagine or feel energy around your hands. And just kind of like, you can just touch the two thumbs together, but imagine the energy going between the two hands, and you can feel it and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is, once you guys have this done and you're imagining it, I'm going to send you energy from my fingers to your fingers. And part of this is what I'm going to do is, because I'm seeing you here now, I'm just going to send it to you. And also do that to anybody else in here that you want to send energy to, whoever you're drawn to that's on this list. You may not even know them, but you might feel you're drawn to them simply because you're a healer and they're connected to you in some way. So just kind of put your fingers together, like I said, and I'm just going to send all kinds of energy out. Let me know if you feel them or not. But at the same time, when I'm doing this, is I'm going to be going through each one of you guys and removing hooks, black hooks, and which are usually, negative people. Anyway, so here we go. I'm just going to start this now. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's move on. I don't know if you guys felt that or not, but anyway. Okay, so Shelby Nicole. Yeah, we are at 3250. So when you mention somebody that's that's around you or trying to communicate with you, that I'm getting a very strong feeling that this is a male. Certainly on your side. And it's certainly like a message that I'm getting that basically kind of like words say, hey, calm down. And you may experience an extra level of energy in your house. I'm kind of seeing that there's about 18 family members that have come into your house that are passed. So usually when they come this house is because there might be too much stress. Somebody might be ill. A child might be moving into the spiritual side or learning new spiritual stuff. But the whole point of them being there is to help you understand your own spirituality. There's also an older lady. I feel this is a grandmother, and she's letting you know that it's kind of like change is coming. It's a good change. She says you need to spend a lot more time outside the house. You need to, make that decision that you need to make, and make sure that that decision is, even though it might you feel hurt other people, in the end you might have to look at it and say, how does this make me feel? Because sometimes females a lot of times are not very selfish, because they always think of other people first. And sometimes you just got to be selfish and look at things and say, you know what, I want to be happy from now on. I help everybody else be happy. Now I want to be happy. So this is kind of a feeling that's kind of a bit of a change that's coming your way, where the spiritual change, the major decision to be made, and the spirits are all saying, you know what, they're all going to support you and they're all going to tell you what to do, but it's up to you to make that decision. And again, I got the two cards that basically saying, to make decision. The first one here is, being alone. You need to make decisions without people around, without animals around. Go out walking, go to the beach, sit in the park, even in Tim's. Some people will think better when there's white noise around them, as in people talking. So whichever one you're comfortable with. But I'm just seeing, the last card just says that all parts of your life are going to come in sync, and it's going to be a happy time. I don't know if the question is about your house, but like I said, they're in your house and they're just kind of They're just mentioning something about the basement, and that you might have a lot of movement and spirits around your house through the basement, simply because it's a portal, which might affect you because you're a spiritual person and you might feel a bit of nervousness. But that's why they're there. Let you know that everything's okay. And certainly protect you. Anyway, so that's all I have for you. I hope that makes sense. Let's go down to all the newer ones. Hi, Tracy. I really didn't have much need to really kind of focus on you because she was the one that was sitting beside you when you typed that. Okay, so where's that? Ali? J. Charles. She's pretty, got a lot of strength in her. Earl Grey tea. Anyway. What does she have to have? Okay, so the first thing first thing I see her doing is kind of tapping her feet, almost like she's impatient, or she's impatient for you guys or for him to move on. And one of the cards I get is, yes, it's time for you to start moving on and stop being held back by fear and by it's the other way. I forgot. Anyway, either by fear or because of you missing somebody, so you're not moving forward because you're still grieving. Grieving's the word. Anyway, how she says that there's certainly a lot of things that are going to come up for you over the next little while, or for him. I'm going to say you because she's directing it through me to you. So anyway. So she says, one of the things that people have to do and, let them know that she's very happy where she is. And she is very, very proud of him. But let them know that, you need to take the time to enjoy life. You can't look at everything in a negative way. When negative comes, if you're positive, then you're able to deal with it in a much easier way. Because if you're negative, then if you get something negative, then you're just twice as much negative, which means you'll fall into more of a negative thing. And then all of a sudden you'll realize that you can't get out of it. So she says, you need to look at things in a negative way, in a positive way. Then you'll find out what you're seeing is terrible is actually not that terrible. You can deal with it. She does see him moving forward in a career or job, whichever one you want to call it. Certainly she says he's going to be making a decision of where he is work-wise and perhaps even move, but that's a decision he hasn't made yet. But again, it's just a message for him, that she's lovingly wants him to know that he needs to stop thinking of things that are holding him back and think of things that he could go to. I don't know if he plays with his fingers or not, but she just keeps showing me somebody, a male, playing with his fingers, like almost like he's trying to clean them. And she also wants him to know that when he sits on the couch or he's talking to somebody and he feels little bit of energy, or in the middle of the palm, and like some people say, hey, I feel that I feel like money's coming because of the way my palm feels. She wants him to know that when he feels that, that's her holding his hand and helping him move forward. So next time he feels it, just realize that she is helping him. Anyway, and she says, if he doesn't start moving, she's going to kick his ass, and he'll be annoyed until he actually makes some moves. Yeah, so that's all I have for you. I hope that helps him. Okay, so let's go back down near the bottom again because new people come in. Where are you? Oh, way up here. It's moving fast. Francine Lemire. Mm-hmm. 4309. By the way, when you feel your fingers do that, that's not just for him, that's for everybody, where spirit will actually hold your hand and you'll feel like you need to scratch the inside of your palm. We're not getting money, we're getting messages. Okay, so I got your dad and your brother together. They're kind of jokingly arguing with each other. Simply because your dad kind of rolls his eyes and said, yeah, you've always been a little bit of a pain in the ass. Anyway, so both of them are looking at you, and your dad wants you to quickly know that he's very proud of you. And in fact, as your brother's with him, that you're now his favorite. Kind of look at each other and just kind of like, yeah, okay. Anyway, they're joking. Your dad wants you to know that there's a family celebration coming up soon, and that he will be there with you. So I'm not sure if this is not sure what he's telling me what it is, but it's time for family to get together. It's like the feeling that there's a joining of two, or perhaps somebody, getting pregnant from the joining of two. But the words I'm hearing is joining of two. And it's like a family celebration coming up. So he says, it's just time to go out and get together and celebrate this event. He's also letting you know that he's going to be there for all that time as well, and your brother is going to be there. I don't understand this. He says your brother's hands are finally clean. Your brother says, they've always been clean. He says, no, not the fingernails. But whatever that means, I don't know. Anyway. He finds that also getting feeling that there's a very large relaxation of negativity or tenseness around you. It's like you're going to be sitting there, going to be tense, and all of a sudden you're going to feel it being like released. And then you're going to realize that, hey, you know what? Something just happened that's going to make my life a bit easier. And again, that's your spirits that are going to come around and move people, or if you have negativity around relationships or whatnot, then that's going to be fixed. And all of a sudden, your tight shoulders will suddenly, release themselves, and then you'll feel yourself much relaxed. And you realize that you probably were worried too much about something. And I don't know, your brother's sending a message saying he loves you, and he says there's something in a box that's for you in a closet somewhere. So I don't know if he's saying that he moved stuff there, or there was a box you forgot about, that there's stuff in it. But it's almost like reminding you that, hey, there is stuff in that box for you. But again, just the message saying that they're seeing your past being swept away. And I asked your dad to remove the hooks, but he can't. So I'm asking your guide to do it. So your guide says, yeah, I'll work on it. So, then you might feel that might be the release. Maybe you're still angry or still connected to somebody that's dragging you down. Anyway, so they're to work you. They're both very proud of you. And your brother says he still thinks that he's the favorite. Anyway, I hope that helps in some way. Thanks for coming. Cisco, that's what I always thought too, but the spirits have been telling me, no, that's the spirit actually holding your hands. There was somebody here I saw that I wanted to read. I was drawn very much to you. I'm just trying to see if I can find that name again. I can't seem to find it. It's just slipped right out of my mind. I saw it and it went away. Well, I can't forget this name. I have to do this one. Peggy Mason. Part of the Mason clan. Yeah, so spirit guide message. Okay, so the first message I'm getting from your spirit guide, which I'm feeling, or the one that's at least shows up, is a male. The first thing he wants you to know is that you've had 68 lives, and certainly a lot of them. It says like 3/4 of them, maybe 2/3 of them, so far have been males. So you've had a lot of male influence. Doesn't mean you're male or anything. It just means that you've had some more logic than maybe other people. So the one thing I'm getting from your spirit guide is that you're pushing too hard on certain things, and he's probably referring to spirituality, but there's certain things that you're really kind of frustrated with. He says, one of the things that you should not do is try to still the mind, because stilling the mind stops the communication to the spiritual world. Now, that's what I'm taught. Obviously, other people have different opinions on that. whether you should still the mind or not, go with what you feel is the best for you. That's all I'm being told. So I know some people says, but, the way I look at it is if you're trying to still the mind and you're getting interrupted all the time and you're getting frustrated and you don't want to do it anymore, that's because somebody's trying to tell you you shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, that's just my opinion. So, a lot of things that they're saying is you should just be using your natural meditation of daydreaming and watching things and drifting off, and simply because a lot of your abilities is being able to help people through communications. Your healing is very strong there, whether you realize it or not. That when you talk to people, you'll finally find out that they're actually, upset when you first start talking to them, and then they're happy by the time you're done, which is the healing process. And it's not, he says, healing's not about, having to touch people or have people sit down or whatever and healing them. It's all about removing the negativity out of their bodies, even without even realizing you're doing it, nor do they realize that you're doing it. But once you remove that negativity, then people have the space to think of their issue without being negative. And that's the purpose of healers, is to allow them the space to think of the issues. Again, being able to communicate with people through your mediumship as well. And there's two types of mediumships. One is the personal one, which is for you and for everybody else to is a protection for you. And it's just basically, everybody experiences this one. When you sit there and you think of something, then your partner says it, or you think of your mother, then the phone rings and it's her. You suddenly think of people you haven't talked to in 10 years, and they suddenly pop back into your life. And this is what we call the personal mediumship. This is like our souls letting us know that these things are happening and will come to us. But there's also the one that you can do, which is what I do, is bring back messages from past loved ones for other people. So don't be surprised if you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, because that's usually when we detect spirits. Mediums especially will detect them and wake them up, and will wake up and because they detected a spirit in their room or a spirit talking to them. I do see, though, that in the physical side, that over the next 5 years, you're going to be dealing with fairly big negative thing coming up around the 3-year mark, and that's something you'll have to deal with. But also realizing that when that happens, that you can't allow that to stop you. And that's where you'll learn your spiritual lessons if you want. So he just says, move forward, listen to what's happening around you, pay attention, and know that once you sense something is a message to you, then always hold on to that, because it'll come back for other things. Anyway, that's all he has for you. I'm sure he would say a lot more, but these are 5-minute reads, so unfortunately, I don't have a lot of times to get deep into the messages for everyone. Okay. Let's see here. Sylvie, that would be way too soon for me if she passed this morning. She's probably still through the process, and they usually, at least with me, usually it's about probably 4 or 5 days before I can actually communicate. Even then, wouldn't get much. So I would kind of have to say no for that. Much as I would want to try him. Let's see who's down here. Okay, so Shayna Hunt. All right. So it's 56:59. Yeah. So just to let you know, there's an older female that's kind of standing behind you and wants to talk to you about certain things. And again, from the cards, I'm kind of seeing that there might be things that you need to make a decision about. Certainly things that putting you kind of in a bit of a negative state, if you want to call it that way. It's just card one. The card says you're maybe stuck in a situation that you're trying to figure out how to get out of that. And again, I'm hearing it as a grandmother, so because I hear grandmother. So the message I'm getting for her is for you to settle all the minor issues that you're dealing with, and then you'll have time for your major issues. I don't know if this is a relationship issue or not, but I just kind of feel that there's a fairly big negative input from a male. And to her, that's something that most girls are told this, that you have to get rid of, of your thought of having to help everybody and being a second-class citizen to everybody. And realize that, you have to be 50-50, and you have to, when you give out healing, then you should get that back. But most of the times women don't get that back, and it can be very frustrating. So she says that it's just kind of time for you to reflect on that, and reflect on your own purpose in life, and reflect on whether you are going on your right path. So, the cards I'm just seeing here as well is that there might be somebody you may need to take care of as well over the next little while. So there might be those decisions as well. So that might be what she's referring to as a relationship. Doesn't necessarily mean partner. It could just be a friend or whatever. But in the end, focus on your own path and make sure that you're taking time for yourself and not just for everybody else. And once you do that, then you'll find yourself some happiness. Yeah. So that's all I have for you. And I hope it makes sense. Okay. So thank you everyone for coming out. For those of you guys who like what we do, please hit the follow button in Facebook. And if you're from YouTube, hit the follow, the subscribe button, the like button. And so I'm back here every Wednesday for those of you guys who are new. So hope to see you next Wednesday. Plus, I'm going to be adding new things. Like I said, I'm going to be learning how to do it without cards. So I'm going to have to do one night without cards, and hopefully you guys can help me with that. And I'm just adding new stuff, animals and all that kind of stuff as I move forward. So time to learn. It's been 30 years just doing it one way. Now it's time to add stuff. So anyway, so take care, everyone, and hopefully I'll see you next Wednesday or other times. Okay, bye.